Today I'm taking a look at the Redwood Country Flea Market in Wallingford, Connecticut. This is my first visit here ever. This flea market is held apparently every weekend year-round, which is surprising for Connecticut. So let's take a look around and see what we can find. And something I noticed at this flea market was it's got a lot of what I would call like farmers market type booths. So there's a lot of people selling food, which I don't usually see at most flea markets. And if you're looking for a lot of antiques, they are kind of light on antiques here, I would say. It's a lot of modern stuff and also some vintage stuff, but not a lot of true antiques. I was thinking of picking this up here. It's like a Nintendo knockoff system, an emulator. I'm assuming it's Nintendo. It looks like a Nintendo Entertainment System. But it's only got RCA out. So most TVs today, as you probably know, only take HDMI. So you can't really use that on most modern TVs, at least not without an adapter. The weather today was a lot better than it was at the Elephant's Trunk flea market a couple weeks ago, that's for sure. And luckily nobody was packing up early as soon as I got here. And this was pretty cool. It's a Batman Batarang, probably a promotional item from one of the most recent movies, I would guess. And it was very sharp. And I'm assuming those are pellet guns, not actual pistols right there. And I actually saw that exact film at a antique store not too long ago. So that must have been a really popular film back in the, I think, 30s or 40s when that came out. Now, a lot of these shows I go to, I'll see a certain item over and over again, and at this show it was definitely Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars. Got a DeLorean here from Back to the Future, that's pretty cool. And this guy was selling a bunch of old coins and currency of various types and tokens there. I don't know anything about collecting coins, so it's probably best that I don't try to pick anything up here because I just wouldn't know what I was doing. Some nice old postcards there. was taking a look here to see if these are actual like electric trains, but they're not. They're just like basically big Matchbox toys. And I would have stopped to take a look at the hats, but hats don't fit my head, so not much point. Some cool keychains here. Got a Wario. What was that? Squid Game guy. Pretty much every character you could think of in there. Good. And I'm pretty much looking for vintage type stuff, memorabilia, that type of thing. So if they're selling household goods, you know, as well as, like I said, clothing and stuff, I'm just going to skip past that. This guy here had a lot of cool stuff. The thing that really jumped out at me was the road signs, which I would love to have one of those hanging on my wall, but I'm honestly not sure if it's legal to buy those, so I kind of steer clear of that. Let me know in the comments, is it legal to buy and sell those road signs? Another thing I saw a lot of at this show, which I don't see at most flea markets, is like this booth here where he's got a lot of food. I mean, it's cases of potato chips, crackers, snack cakes, sodas. It's interesting. I usually don't see that at flea markets. I love to scan over tables like this where everything's jumbled up, just looking to see if there's something hiding in there that I find interesting. Because you never know what you're going to find. Got an interesting World War I looking helmet up there. Thinking that's German. I don't know if that's an actual antique or not, though. It looks kind of new to me. It's a pretty cool handcrafted airplane there. Looks handcrafted to me, at least. Oh, these old Star Trek books. I remember reading a lot of these back in the early 90s. These were pretty popular. They weren't the best, but they were definitely fun for somebody that's into Star Trek like I was.
Okay.
Pretty sure this guy was trying to tell me those are gold-plated silverware or flatware, but I don't know. It didn't look like gold to me. Maybe gold-colored, but it was not. I'm pretty sure it was not actual gold. And again, a lot of like home goods, like grocery type items here. This guy had a great selection of old comics here. He had a lot of Silver Age and Bronze Age comics. Also some newer ones, but mostly I would say like between the 50s and 70s in here. And the prices actually weren't too bad, especially with 50% off the sticker price. But for whatever reason, I just wasn't feeling it today, so I didn't end up picking any of them up. And I kind of didn't want to go through them all, because then all his books would fall back into the box and they wouldn't be sticking up anymore, so I didn't want to have him to do it all over again. And I hate to say it, I'm kind of spoiled by Goodwill prices for like CDs. Goodwills around me sell CDs for about $1 or $2 each. He was selling them like $3, $4, $5.
Yeah.
Which they may be worth that, but again, when I can see these pretty much every day at Goodwill for $1 or $2, it's hard for me to want to pick them up. I was kind of interested in this Fleetwood Mac collection here, which I'd never seen before, but he had it priced at $30, and that was just a bit more than I wanted to pay.
Interesting. Thanks. Alright, yeah, no, I'll think about it. Thanks. How much
The Blu-rays and DVDs were priced pretty reasonably, though. I think he said 3 each or 2 for $5, so that's decent. They go for about $2 to $3 at Goodwill as well. Something I've noticed recently is that DVDs seem to be especially unpopular today, which I guess is probably because they're not high resolution like Blu-rays are, or 4K Blu-rays, and they're not as nostalgic as VHS tapes. They're kind of in that middle zone.
Oh, okay.
And I just don't think a lot of people are buying them, because people seem to have just tubs full of DVDs at the show. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not want to buy medications at a flea market. Even if they're over-the-counter medications. It doesn't seem like a good idea to me. Now, this guy here had a ton of tools. I'll be honest, I know nothing about tools. I barely use tools other than a hammer once in a while. So this was all pretty much useless to me, but if you're into tools, that guy's got a ton of them. More tools. And here's a slot machine without the arm. I guess I would make it an unarmed bandit.
Slot machine, but it's missing the arm.
They also had a lot of garden tools here, and also like fertilizer, which I guess this is a good time to sell that type of thing, being spring and all. And I'm a collector of old computer games and computer hardware, so this interests me. She had a whole box of old computer discs, games and whatnot, and a bunch of joysticks, which I actually have a few of these old Sci-Tech joysticks. They were pretty popular back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But they had a problem where the rubberized plastic on them over the years basically melted, and now they're all sticky. And the only way to make them unsticky is like to take sandpaper to them and sand them down. I think that's an Xbox 360 controller there. Special one for, I think that's Modern Warfare 3. There's a decent selection of games in here, but it's mostly like late 2010s or late 2000s era stuff, which a lot of times you can't use because they all had to be activated online, and once they're activated once, you can't activate them again, so a lot of those probably would not actually work today. Some creepy puppets there. This guy had a bunch of old Happy Meal toys here, still sealed up. Looks like Kung Fu Panda and some Power Rangers. Not sure how collectible those are nowadays, honestly. I still have a bunch in a box somewhere from the mid-90s. And this is it says a line conditioner for electronics, but that looks to be at least 30 to 40 years old, so I'm not sure if I would trust that. Unless I wanted to burn my house down. I thought this was kind of sad. It's an old yearbook from 1967. So I'm guessing the guy would have been born in about 1950. So he would be about roughly 72 now. And apparently his name was Phil, or Philly. And I don't know, I guess maybe the guy died and then somebody bought all his stuff. But I don't know, it just seems sad. It seems like that should be something that's left with the family. You know, I'm sure there's at least one family member that would have wanted that. And there were more yearbooks in there. There were at least 2 or 3 I saw that seemed to belong to the same guy. Is that Beethoven there? That bust? I think so. This is the Redwood Grill. This is the only restaurant at the flea market, and from what I hear, it's pretty good. This vendor here on the left was selling pretty much just like smoking related items, which I don't smoke. I'm not interested in that at all, so I'm just skipping past that. I like this old bike here. It's a Peugeot. I'm not too knowledgeable on bikes, but to me that looks like maybe 60s or 70s, possibly early 80s. But it's at least 40 years old, I would guess. Definitely needs new brakes, but the frame looks in pretty good condition. Good. More tubs of DVDs. I didn't see the prices on these packs of toilet paper here, but I think the prices would have to be pretty amazing for me to pick up toilet paper at a flea market. More Matchbox and Hot Wheels. And another flea market staple, the Hess truck. And other similar type trucks. I think most of these were like promotions at gas stations and oil companies, that type of thing. And I'm not sure if they still make those, but they definitely made a lot of them back in the 80s and 90s, as far as I can remember. This guy here had a ton of Milwaukee tools. And again, I know nothing about tools, so I don't know if those were good deals or not. And more household items. This guy had a nice selection of detergent and windshield washer fluid. I did find this though. I thought this was pretty cool. It's a set of Disney books. This set is from '77. But I know it's a reprint. They had a lot of other printings listed inside the book. I think it was going back to the 50s.
Oh, okay.
But I really like old Disney, so like Disney from like the early 80s and earlier.
Yeah, they might be.
Not so much a
second
fan of
prints or
the
something.
newer stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a few dates.
It's probably because I
Yep.
went to Disney World a lot when I was a kid back in the early 80s. And these books were in pretty good condition. The books themselves were fine. The box they came in had a lot of water damage
How
and
much
some
you looking
foxing
for
on it,
that?
but
So, this set.
you know, I figure you'd see these books go for at least $3 each, so I thought
How
this
much?
was a decent deal.
10? Yeah, I'll do it.
Get ready to go one-on-one with you.
All right, thank you.
Now these Pro Set hockey cards here, I think they're from 1990. I remember when these came out, they were extremely popular. You couldn't get them; they were going out of stock so quickly. If I remember properly, the main draw was the Brett Hull rookie card, and I think the Ray Bork card. Nowadays, you can hardly give them away.
Yeah, that's good. Did you have any darker color or darker? That's part of the, like the one he's got. No, the ambulance he's got. Didn't he have the white ambulance?
You had some New Kids on the Block cards here.
For me to hold?
Guessing those are probably like 89, 90 or so. If they were in better condition, I probably would have picked them up. I was never a New Kids on the Block fan, but you know, I'm a fan of that era of collecting, basically. And a ton more Matchbox and Hot Wheel cars. Thought this one was interesting because there was no name of a car on it. I'm not sure what that car is, if that's a famous car or what that is. This guy had a lot of military type stuff here. And some comics. I really like this painting here. I think it falls into the category of it's so bad it's good. it's just crazy. It's got the Eiffel Tower, Big Ben, a jet flying through the middle of it, and then some woman's face in the bottom right. Like, I don't know what that is, but I want it. At $70 though, it was just a little bit more than I wanted to spend. And I saw a Nintendo Wii here mixed in with the toys. Always wanted to get one of those, but I don't know. I think if I get one, it'll be complete in the box. This caught my eye. It's a old Microsoft Sidewinder joystick from, I believe it was late 90s, early 2000s. I actually have one just like this at home. And I was hoping that maybe this had all the packing material, because mine, it's just the box like this one. It doesn't have any of the, like the foam inserts. If this had the foam inserts, I would have definitely bought it. But I did see this one underneath it. This one's a little bit older. This is probably mid-90s. It's nowhere near as good a joystick as the Sidewinder, but it's more nostalgic for me. Being in, like I said, like an early to mid-90s joystick. Even though it didn't have all the foam inserts, I decided to pick it up.
How much is the old joystick?
And I just couldn't argue with the price of $5.
I'll take it. $5. Thank you. No, it's a old Disney books. The whole collection from the 70s. That treasure chest?
That was nice. It's nice. I don't know if you hear that.
Oh, yeah.
It's really nice.
Oh, okay. Are they coloring books, you said?
No, they're picture books.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm more into the older Disney, like 70s and earlier, but yeah, no, that's nice. Thanks. good.
Got a premium joystick. How much did you pay for that?
$5.
Oh my god. Okay. So
I thought it was a good deal.
It is a good deal. I'm selling one for 10, one for 15, one for 30.
Oh yeah, we're
Just different ones.
Oh yeah.
$5 is a great deal.
Yeah, well, it's an old one. You can't really use it on many new systems, but that was pretty cool. Early 90s probably.
Okay. So if you have a Windows 98, you can use it.
Yeah, yeah.
And this comic here in the top right, Spider-Man 2099 number 1, used to be almost worthless about 5-10 years ago. Nowadays it's going for $20-30 because apparently there's rumors that they might be doing a movie of the Spider 2099 universe.
Good morning, sir. When did you ever see Interstate 82?
When it came out.
Yeah.
I actually have it.
In 82.
Yeah, no, I have a bunch of these
I
games.
think there was an Interstate 76
Yep.
before that.
Yeah, I had that too. I bought them. I never ended up finishing them. They were really difficult to play, I
went
thought.
from start to finish.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
And this guy had a lot of great games that are really from my favorite time period, which is like the mid to late 90s, which is when I really got into computer gaming. And like I was saying here, I actually have a lot of these at home. But if I didn't, I probably would have picked up most of the stuff he had here.
And I have more underneath the table.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I actually have a lot of these myself. Never got rid of them. All right, thanks. You too.
So there you have it. That's the Redwood Country Flea Market in Wallingford, Connecticut. I would definitely recommend you come out and take a look. Just be aware, though, again, it's fairly small, and about half of it is food items, farmers market type stuff. So it's not all antiques and vintage stuff like a lot of other flea markets are. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I've got a lot more flea market videos coming up in the next few months, so I'll see you next time.